What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in today's vlog, we're actually going to be taking care of some pretty big maintenance that I haven't been able to address, but we've been kind of going through the list of things. So we are finally at this point where we need to change out the axles. There is two ripped axles on this car. It looks pretty bad, and I'll show you guys why it actually is really bad, because it actually is leaning to one side of the Civic, and I didn't notice until a little bit later on. Let me show you guys what I mean. Here is our driver's side axle. As you guys can see, this boot here is just completely torn. All of the grease has probably been coming out of there. And then, I don't know if you guys can tell, but it actually kind of comes downwards, like at a 45-degree angle. And then for the passenger side, it's basically the same thing. So it's completely ripped. Grease is falling out. Now, I know that some of you might be saying, well, the car is in the air, and that could also be a reason why it's like looking like it's coming downward. But I promise you, when the car is literally on the ground, it literally looks like the car is leaning to the driver's side more than the passenger side. And that's actually what kind of made me think that something was going on there. Once we kind of had the chance to get under there when we did the first oil change, that I like literally noticed right away with the axles. So here's our solution. This is what the new ones look like, and you can tell that they are way nicer than what we kind of have on the car right now. Very excited to see how the car feels once we throw these on. It looks like they even come with a replacement nut as well, and you can already feel and visually tell that they already are like oiled up or greased up. I could have gotten an upgraded axle like some of the insane axles, but I figure we'll kind of visit that again when we come to that road, because honestly, I think for like us kind of just learning in the beginning, and we're not like switching the engine right away, we're not going to be making like over 500 horsepower, now at least not just yet. But I do feel like this is actually a very inexpensive thing for you to change. It literally costs like, I believe like maybe like $150 a axle. I got these on a discounted deal from O'Reilly's. We're gonna go ahead and change these out and see how the car feels. Now, I don't think that it's going to be a difficult install, but you guys already know how things go once we start getting into it. So hopefully it is actually an easy install. I feel like the task is going to be pretty simple. Reason being is because it's only like a couple things you need to take off to actually access the axle. First things first, we need to take off this nut here. So we're gonna go ahead and loosen it. You could also use your jack to kind of help support the rotor mechanism, so that way it's not like hanging once you kind of separate the ball joint from the arm. Just in case, hopefully it's not stuck, but I have seen plenty of people's splines get stuck here. We could kind of just go ahead and give this some taps, and then we can go ahead and get to this area here where we'll go ahead and push it out a little bit, like with a pry bar, and it should be able to come out after that. Like I said, let's hope that it goes smoothly for the driver. Alright guys, we have the first axle out. So here is the side by side in terms of the old and the new. Yeah, see? Definitely is super old. I wonder how old this one actually is, but yeah, definitely needed to be changed. Not only that, so I was really trying to avoid taking off this right here, which basically connects to this. It's like a small like fork, I guess you can say, and I was trying to avoid taking it off. Honestly, just go ahead and take it off, because it's literally just like two nut and bolts and it comes off. So save yourself the struggle and just take it off. It's gonna be a lot easier for you to take off the axle. So one of the things that we're just, you know, out here learning, but like I said, it is very easy. It's literally just one bolt here and another one here, and then you could literally just take off the axle. And honestly, the axle was super easy to come out. I didn't have to hit it with a rubber hammer or anything like that. The only thing I really kind of had to work was the ball joint kind of coming out, which actually is probably a good thing that it wasn't so easily to come out. As you guys can see here, we are also using this jack for a little bit of leverage and a little bit of help right here, so that way we don't put a lot of strain on this area right here, because if not, it would just be kind of hanging and kind of pulling from the bushing here, along with this as well, which I believe is the tie rod. So yeah, definitely use this to kind of give you guys some support. Now we can go ahead and throw on the new axle, and it literally probably took me only, I don't know, 30 minutes or so to take this out. 30-45 minutes, let's just say, to take it out. Considering that it's my first time and I always start off not knowing what I'm doing, I think that's not too bad actually. So it is extremely windy in my area, and it is like so hard to kind of keep the cameras like upright and get the shots for you guys. So I really hope you guys are enjoying this right now, because it's like really hard to kind of record right now, but I have to utilize the time that we have so I can get stuff like this done for not only myself but for you guys too, you know what I mean? I literally have all the weights on the blanket right here because it keeps blowing up and blowing all over the place. So yeah, bear with me. But let's go ahead and install the new axle, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like. All right, finally, we got it in. Okay, little piece of advice. When you are putting back the axle inside, this side of the axle here, you're going to need to basically put the nut on, and then you're gonna need to like whack it into the trans basically. It wasn't all the way in, it felt like it was, but there was like at least this much left from it being inside. So give it some time, give yourself something to like help you kind of hold it up, and then you're gonna just want to whack it into place. And once you do that, then you can go ahead and start putting everything back together. And that was something that I was like, yo, why is it not going in all the way on that side? And to be honest, I was like, man, am I gonna damage the threading if I like smack it on this side? Luckily, I do have a soft hammer, so that actually worked out, and it's just something very, very minimal for you to be able to get it in like how it should be. I struggled a little bit. As you guys can see, this is it's a dirty job here, you know what I mean? Like, my hands are completely black here. Everything is all good and new now, and I feel a lot better about it. There is some things that I was up in here that we were like, yo, we kind of need to change this, and maybe you guys can give me some opinions as you guys see, but I feel like this probably needs to be changed. I feel like this needs to be changed in terms of like the bushings and everything. I think this tie rod is kind of old here. Look at the bushing right here. It's ripped. I'm pretty sure there's no grease in there. And then we have the ball joint here. This is something that I kind of had in the back of my head that I'm like, all right, we're probably gonna need to change a lot of the suspension areas. I'm gonna go ahead, attack the passenger side, which I hope it'll be a lot easier now because I kind of know what I'm doing, and then we'll show you what it looks like. We have a really, really good install. It's actually a conversion for the rear of the Honda Civic. So I've seen this being done. Figured it would be a good thing for us to do, especially because we are going to be tracking this car every so often. And I feel like it will be a lot easier on us if we need to like change brake pads. I'm pretty sure it's probably just better to have it in general. We also have some help here, my boy Jonathan. If you guys have been watching the channel for a while, you guys might have seen my guy. Kind of hit him up because, you know, I'm gonna need you. I don't know a lot about certain things. You guys know I still am learning so much. My guy just knows a ton, and I learned a lot from him when we were working on the Lexus and for some other cars as well. If you're an OG and you remember my boy Jonathan, shout out in the comments. We're actually going to be having Jonathan kind of help us out with a couple things with the Civic build. You'll be seeing him a lot more. 1997 Integra rear disc. It should be a direct fit. I've never done this, but I'm pretty sure it's a direct fit. As you guys can see, it is rusted to hell. Can't even turn it. I think it's just seized onto the brake pad here, but that's okay. We don't got to worry about this because we have all new rotors for the front and for the rear of the car. These are the rear slotted rotors from R1 Concepts. Big shout out to our sponsors, R1 Concepts. So obviously we have them on the 86, we've had them on the Lexus, and now there are being a part of the Honda Civic build. So they look really dang good, honestly. These are the fronts here. They're slightly bigger and they're vented. Just is a good looking rotor there. Also have some of their brake pads, right? These are their Performance Sport Series. I personally have never had these brake pads from them before, but these were recommended when I was talking to one of the reps. He kind of did a lot for me in terms of researching, in terms of what we need for this conversion, and he said that it was actually quite easy because they have done plenty of Honda Civics. So it helped me out a lot because I didn't have to do as much research. Check out the brake pads. This is basically what they look like out of the box. I will say though, I have never ever seen a brake pad this small. If we're putting it up to the other one, like it is like the right size here, but just like dude, this is tiny. Look at how my hands are not crazy big, but that is insane. In this one, it kind of promotes high friction, street performance, track, and off-roading. Rubber coated steel shim, slotted where it needs to be, scorched where it needs to be. So it's all the stuff that they kind of promote here on the box. Like I said, this will be our first time running these. I'll let you guys know exactly how they feel on the street and also on the track. So definitely look out for that little review there. Luckily for us, we got new bushings on the trailing arm, and I can see from here the bushings that it kind of has are not worn. They're still pretty good, which I'm very happy about. What do we got to do first?
Well, let's take that apart and see what's going on with that.
Jonathan's the one that actually pointed out the fact that he couldn't turn the rotor, so he was kind of tripping out. He said, damn, it's must be seized somewhere.
It's just seized to the pad, and then the bearing's good, so we don't have to replace the bearing.
Hopefully we don't have to replace the bearing, and if we do, I'm hoping that we can use the bearing that we already have on the car just in case if we do have to change these out. After that, we'll probably put this in the air, take off the rear side. Probably going to have to get inside to unhook the e-brake cable, go back and do some things in the rear. I'm gonna go ahead and stop talking. Let's go ahead and remove this brake caliper on both of the trailing arms, see what we're working with. Alright you guys, so we got off all of the brake caliper and the old rotors from both trailing arms. To be honest with you, this one's pretty clean, and as you guys can see, there's no noise you can hear, and actually spins pretty well when the rotor's on there, so that's a good sign. Also, once we kind of taken these like bolts off and everything, they actually were coming off pretty easily, which is a good sign as well. Would you guys reuse these? This wheel hub is actually good too. They must have did some type of off-roading or I don't know why it's so filthy. One of the things we were mentioning, right, in terms of if we were going to be able to reuse, is the seal on these brake calipers here. They're still pretty good on both sides. This is the left-hand side here. It's still pretty good. Right-hand side, it's also still looking really good, and you can tell like the seal is still seated pretty nicely inside of the pocket. That is all good news. Obviously I didn't buy any replacements for that, so that would have been like something we would have had to go run to the store and try to, you know, get another piece for. So I'm glad we didn't have to. I'm glad we don't have to do that for any of these things, meaning like the wheel hub bearing, the bolts, or shims actually. So definitely very helpful. We don't have to change any of that or go get some new stuff. We could just reuse what we have, save some coins there. Now we're gonna go ahead, take off the rear trailing arms. Hopefully right there we don't run into any issues in terms of, highly doubt anything in that area has ever been changed. Sometimes that's a good thing and sometimes that's a bad thing, because if they've never changed it, never serviced it, never did anything, it might be difficult when you're the one that's trying to update it, because you might run into an issue to where something might be seized or something of the sort. So hopefully it all goes smooth. Let's cross our fingers. I'll update you guys right now. We got the first trailing arm off. It actually wasn't bad, but the only thing we ran into, basically if you're not changing out, what would you call it? Like the brake shoes on the drums. Basically the mechanism of brake shoes that are around here on the back side of the drum. They're supposed to kind of expand and not expand when they need to. You see what happens here is that sometimes over time, if you're not changing them correctly or just frequently, there's a lip that develops around the drum here. And so when you're trying to take it off, basically what happens is the shoes around here are trying to come off this way, but it's hitting that lip coming off of the wheel hub. It's gonna get stuck if you're trying to pull off the drum, but it can't because it's already stuck hitting that lip. So that was something that we kind of was struggling with. Good thing something like that, you guys, is why I'm glad I have Jonathan here, because I personally would have been like, oh, I don't want to break anything. And this is just because of my range of knowledge. But luckily Jonathan was here to be like, hey, we kind of don't need any of that stuff anyways. Let's just try to pry it off and take off the shoes. And so that's what we did. I went ahead and threw away all the broken pieces already, all the springs and stuff, but this is basically the drum here. Everything else is pretty much straightforward in terms of the bolts and everything that you would have to take off. Here is the brake line here with the fluid. I do have some new fluid, and as you guys can see, look how dark this is. Your brake fluid should not be this dark. When was the last time you think they changed it?
Never.
Never, dude. This looks horrible. Definitely going to be doing a flush and putting some new fluid in there. For the most part, you have your e-brake cable here that you can go ahead and disengage. This clip right here, in all honesty, having two people is really helpful with this, because you have all these clips around here and you have to kind of have them all pushed in at the same time, and it is a little difficult to be pushing through the trailing arm. It probably should be a little bit difficult because it's what's holding your car in place in terms of being parked. But if you have if you have two people to help you pull that off, I think you're definitely going to need that, because I don't know if I would have been able to push it out myself. That would have been an extra struggle too. This is the original bushing here. Check out what the original bushing looks like. It's all cracked. It looks super worn right here. Really glad that we're going to be changing them to these more beefy ones here. I don't know the brand on these guys. Energy suspension here. I don't know the brand in terms of like whether or not that's like a good brand or a bad brand, but at least we do have new bushings and we don't have to worry about that aspect on these other trailing arms here. Came with all the original bolts that came off of this. We're gonna go ahead and put this side back together now, and we'll show you what it looks like once we're done. It's currently the next day. We had to kind of stop where we were at because we ran into a couple issues, and let me explain. First thing is this e-brake cable here. We had to upgrade to the 99 to 2000 SI because the other one wasn't going to fit. This is the original one, it's just not going to fit. The other thing that we are changing is this brake line right here. So currently right now, that is what Jonathan is working on. Ended up getting a brake line for both sides, and it is the 99 to 2000 brake line because the other one's just not going to fit. This is an e-brake line for the 99 2000 Civic. This we got from O'Reilly's along with the other one, so you got to get both sides. And then we have brake lines here because the other ones are just not going to fit. So you need something from a newer 99 to 2000 Honda Civic SI that's going to fit. So the other thing that we didn't have either was the banjo bolt that would go up to this. So we ended up getting two banjo bolts. Hopefully these work, you guys, because as you guys can see, it says Chrysler up there. But we went ahead and we took the brake caliper, we took it out, and we measured to see if it was going to fit in this hole here, because that's where it's going to go. It did fit, so we're pretty confident it should work. They didn't have like a specific one that we kind of needed, so we kind of just seen like, hey, let's just see if it fits, and it does. Hopefully we're right because we're already like, you know, like, dang, we need that, dang, we need that. And I promise you, I thought I did enough research, but apparently I didn't, and I missed, well, quite a bit of things. So I know that a lot of people, I've been seeing videos and stuff of people buying new brake calipers for their conversion from like, I think it's like TRQ or something like that, whatever that brand is. And to be honest with you, on that brake caliper, it comes with an adapter that comes right here that's like machined. We should be able to get this working without having to buy updated brake calipers that comes with that bracket. But like I said, I have seen multiple people buy that brake caliper that has the bracket that goes here, and the bracket that goes here is what also holds this e-brake line here. We're trying to figure it out right now. Thank God I have Jonathan, because this is like one of those installs that definitely is getting very, very detailed. It's moving a little bit past my own personal knowledge. This is where we're at right now, changing the brake line, getting things going, because even if we have to order some other stuff even after this, at least we can basically install what we have now. So you have your master cylinder here that holds like your brake fluid and everything like that. This needs to be changed as well. This needs to be upgraded to a 99 to 2000 Honda. And then along with this part right here, this is your proportioning valve here. It comes with 6 different outlets. All of those are basically distributing a certain amount of brake fluid to each part of your car. That is pretty important in terms of if you're upgrading, because if you're upgrading, it needs to have a better amount being distributed in terms of what's inside the actual valve mechanism. If you have the OEM one from your one that you're upgrading, it might not be distributing that a certain amount. If you get an upgraded one, it will definitely distribute the amount you need here, along with the amount that you need from here. So definitely something to kind of look into, because if you don't, what could happen, you might be actually overworking the rear disc. If you're not having the amount that you need distributed in the right way, it could warp your rotors. It could just make the rear brakes work a lot more. So definitely need to upgrade that. So we have the valve coming in. That's gonna come in probably next week. We could do without it for now, because it's not like I'm gonna be driving the car like a lot or hard or anything like that, but definitely something I need to do. The unfortunate thing is that once I take it off and we bleed the brakes today, we might have to bleed the brakes again when we install that. So kind of unfortunate, but hey, that's just kind of how the cookie crumbles. Jonathan already has the new brake line installed here. It's just kind of figuring out if it's the left or the right one, because they are different in terms of the way they face. This is as far as we got. I wish it was a little bit more thorough, but obviously I'm figuring all of this out. And if you guys are watching and you guys either have done this, please leave some comments down below in terms of a little bit more specifics. That would be great, not just for me, but for anybody else that watches this video and then goes down to the comments for information. By the end of this vlog, I will be a little bit more thorough in terms of like exactly what we did and how we got to the final part. All right, so while Jonathan is working on the brake lines, I'm gonna go ahead and try to get the e-brake out. Yeah, I've never done this before, so it's gonna be interesting. Let's do it. Alright guys, so we finally got everything together in the rear. Luckily for us, a lot of stuff worked out. Alright, so as you guys can see here, we got the R1 Concept rotor on, we have their brake pads on, the new brake line on as well. The only thing that we weren't able to finish down here is this e-brake line. So if you guys can see here, we kind of just have it sitting where it needs to be. Now there should be some type of like pin or bolt that we can use that I'll be ordering online right here, and then there should also be like a bracket here as well, which will hold this kind of in that place. So it will be a bracket that holds it in place, and then also a pin that goes through this mechanism here to be able to engage the e-brake. Unfortunately, we don't have a e-brake right now. Obviously it still engages and everything's all hooked up here, but we just can't use it. So for now, if I wanted to just basically drive the car, I basically would just have to put it in first gear and leave it in first gear when I park it until those parts come in from eBay. Do your research before you kind of get into it. Like I said, I didn't do a deep enough dive into the research, and so that's kind of why we have this problem now, but it's okay. It's all a learning game, and luckily, like I said, I had Jonathan to kind of help me out and help me learn a little bit. We haven't gotten the fronts on just yet. I'm actually going to go ahead and do that. We already bled the brakes down here. I went ahead and got some new brake fluid, but I gotta say, it looks pretty damn good, you know, with these new rotors. They're so tiny though. It's so funny. It is nice to see the new brake lines and everything down here. Mentally knowing that it's like all new stuff back here, I really do enjoy that. Like I said, just unfortunate that we weren't able to go ahead and completely finish it, but we will. So stay tuned for that. Other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and put on the front, see how that looks. Alright, so as you guys can see here, we got the R1 Concept rotor on, we have their brake pads on, the new brake line. So guys, I don't know how long this video has been going on, and I might have added the 2 installs together on this video, the Axels and the rear disc conversion. So hopefully you guys have been enjoying the content. I was trying to get enough content for you guys. If you guys have stayed this long in the video, you can also see that yeah, we got some stuff coming for the body kit of this car, you guys. I'm so excited to show you. We have had it for a couple weeks now. I've just been focusing on like the maintenance of the car and other things we need to fix in that sense. Just been kind of holding on to this body kit, but I'm super excited to show it to you guys. So make sure you guys stay tuned because it's going to be super freaking dope. I'm happy with the path that we're going here, and hopefully you guys are happy with the path we're going here too. We have everything on the car now. We have the front rotors from R1 Concepts, and we have the rear rotors from R1 Concepts as well, with the rear trailing arms from a 97 Integra. So I honestly am really glad that we are doing this conversion because, like I said, it is just only going to help us out in the future. And drum brakes, they're just not functional, especially for what we're trying to do. And big shout out to my boy Jonathan for being a trooper and coming out and helping us with this install, because there was plenty of parts where I probably would have still been trying to figure it out at this point in time. Big shout out to my boy Jonathan, and big shout out to R1 Concepts for sponsoring us on the 86 and for the Honda Civic now. The rotors and the brake pads are so good. I'm excited to try out the brake pads because, like I said, I've never used these brake pads before, but we have done these rotors, and I just like that they're not drilled and slotted, they're just slotted. So I really like their products, and they're really good. Check them out if you haven't already, you guys. They have been supporting us for a long time now. I hope you guys like this vlog. Honestly, it takes a lot. It takes a lot sometimes when you're trying to do the install, and then when you're trying to, you know, be informative, and then you're trying to also get the work done on the car. And that's why this time around we were lucky enough to have Jonathan working on the car while we were maybe getting clips for you guys. Really working hard on the Honda Civic. I'm trying to make it to the track with the car, you know. I want to race. I want to do more time attack and stuff like that, man. It honestly excites me just thinking about getting into it, like actually being there and doing it, you know. And we already got some wheels. I guarantee you guys cannot guess what wheels we got. They are from Japan, and I've never had them before. So I'm really excited. So make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 10,000. I know we could do it with your guys' help. Thank you so much for all the guys that have been supporting already. I really appreciate it. It seems like you guys have been enjoying the Honda Civic stuff. So definitely stay tuned. We have more coming, and I can't wait to show you guys and share it with you guys and bring you for the journey. So that's all I got for this episode. Make sure you guys live long and prosper, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.